Mixed reaction tonight to a Supreme Court ruling that means you don't have to show a photo ID at the polls.
Last night's decision regarding Wisconsin that we reported at 9 comes less than 4 weeks before the November general election. And here are the facts at the moment. First, let's backtrack just a little bit. Monday, a federal appeals court in Chicago ruled Wisconsin's voter ID law constitutional. The next day, the American Civil Liberties Union filed an emergency request with the U.S. Supreme Court. And then last night, on a vote of 6-3, the High Court ordered the law not to be used until more hearings are held. So as of now, Wisconsin voters will not have to show a photo ID next month. Now, area clerks who administer the elections say without the ID requirement, waiting in line to vote should take less time. However, elections officials say their top concern right now is the potential for yet another flip on the requirement. Fox 11's Laura Smith explains as You Decide 2014.
News of the voter ID ruling left many local clerks wondering what next.
And it was a shock. I was really surprised.
Wrightstown Clerk Treasurer Jean Brandt says a lot of work went into preparing for the photo ID requirement at the polls.
Getting the photo ID vendors for making new ballots, I should say making new envelopes, those had to have the clerk's signature on them, additional training of the poll workers.
The main concern clerks I spoke with have is what to do about absentee ballots.
Do we need to send another letter?
The village had sent letters to those voters who mailed in an absentee ballot without a photo ID.
We have just been notified that absentee ballots that we are holding will be sent out immediately. Those that are waiting to send in their photo ID do not need to send it.
All we can do is tell clerks or voters, as of today, photo ID is not going to be required on November 4th. And, you know, there's no guarantees that that may not change prior to or on November 4th.
Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen's office declined comment Friday, but the AG defended the law in a statement saying he believes the voter ID law is constitutional. Van Hollen added he will be exploring alternatives to address the court's concern and have voter ID on Election Day. Juneau says this all puts a burden on clerks who will need to keep careful documentation of absentee ballots.
Who has provided photo identification, who hasn't, so that if this should flip once again, they know who they need to contact to fulfill whatever requirements are necessary that that ballot be counted.
And Juneau expects this latest ruling to make Election Day rougher than usual.
Just the confusion that's going to be out there in the general population of whether they need to bring photo identification or not to the polls on Election Day.
Laura Smith, Fox 11 News.
So once again, as it stands right now, no photo ID required. One piece of advice, though, from Brown County's clerk: if you do plan to vote November 4th and don't have a photo ID, she says still get one. That's just in case another change is made.